This is a typical truck stop near Atlanta, where drivers bed down, fuel up, and conduct the business of getting the nation's goods from point A to point B. This is also where your company will suffer significant losses that can drive up your costs, drive down your profits, and drive your loss prevention people to distraction. From the ISO Crime Analytics Unit of Verisk Analytics, this is CargoNet. I'm Pete Combs with vital information to help reduce losses caused by the theft of cargo in transit all across the country. As you look to improve your company's bottom line, Keith Lewis is trying to keep it from being stolen out from under you.
Cargo theft, they say it's a $15 to $30 billion a year business for the bad guys, and that's just what's reported.
Lewis is an agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. We're talking at a truck stop east of Atlanta, where cargo theft has been a big problem.
Over against the fence where the trailers are backed in, the bad guys who live in that apartment complex next door have cut holes in the fences right where the trucks back up.
Lewis is a trucker turned law officer. He knows the business of transporting goods, and he knows the thieves who target that business.
We've got 2 or 3 groups that work here right in the metro area. They've got specific days of the week that they work. They'll go get a U-Haul and a fake name. So they're getting out of the city where the police presence is less. It's more of a rural area, and the chances of getting caught coming back on the interstate are less. And they're taking the goods right back to a mini storage warehouse and unloading them. And then they start working with the fences trying to move them.
The theft of goods in transit is a big and growing problem. In 2010 alone, there were more than 1,000 thefts of cargo in the United States, an increase of more than 30% from the year before. At this truck stop, getting to the goods is easy.
All they've got to do is peel the fence back, and they can get right in the truck.
What do cargo thieves go after?
They'll shop.
Lewis says they look for things they can sell quickly. That often includes electronics, clothing, even
dog food is a big seller, and they'll take it to these stores in Atlanta, these little thrift stores, mom and pop bargain stores, and they move those items through there quick.
The cost to both industry and consumers is staggering.
Dell Computers actually bakes in about $100 per computer for theft in transits to cover the cost of theft.
That's almost 25% of the worth of the computer.
It is, and the problem is getting worse.
You have a lot of resources tied up in reconciling it and going through it and processing it and filing a claim and doing all that stuff, and then a lot of paperwork involved. So it just takes away from the core business of selling.
Brad King knows that as well as anyone else. He's vice president of loss prevention at BCBG Max Azria, a clothing and accessories company based in California. For him, one of the most discouraging aspects of dealing with cargo theft is trying to report the crime.
You have a couple of days trying to find out who's the right person to talk to, what they need, what you have, getting all your reports submitted to them, and you're too late.
Special Agent Lewis says, sadly, that's true.
A lot of times the trucking companies, they'll report it, they won't get a phone call back from law enforcement, and they just give up quick and move forward.
But now Lewis is working with CargoNet, a nationwide organization with tremendous reach, working with shippers, transport companies, and law enforcement to quickly disseminate information about cargo theft wherever and whenever it happens. I'll have more about CargoNet and how it can help prevent the theft of goods in transit, track it when it happens, and catch the thieves right after this.
iPhone and iPod users, you can get in touch with CargoNet faster than ever because now there's an app for that. You can use it to report a cargo theft, check out the latest news and information, as well as contact the 24-hour CargoNet Command Center. You'll find the CargoNet app at the Apple iTunes website, or you can follow the link at CargoNet.com.
Welcome back to CargoNet. I'm Pete Combs. Special Agent Keith Lewis at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is an expert on cargo theft. He's a former trucker who knows the trials and tribulations of getting goods to market. He also knows the worth of CargoNet, which is dedicated to tracking cargo theft, analyzing it from a number of perspectives, and catching the thieves, as well as helping prevent it from happening again. Lewis says CargoNet is a valuable ally in the fight against the theft of goods on the move.
Just while I was sitting here talking to you, my BlackBerry's been going off, and it's been going off all morning. There have been email alerts from CargoNet.
The email alert that you get from CargoNet as a law officer, how valuable is that?
It's extremely valuable. I get that information, and it's got a VIN number, a tag number, a trailer number, a location, a victim name, a contact number. It's basically a synopsis of the police report that I can get right away, and I've got it on a BlackBerry, and I can get out to the field right away. Or that uniform officer right there in that police car can get it right here on his car, and it comes up right on his screen.
That kind of collaboration is vital to catching cargo thieves because, as Lewis says, speed is essential.
I think it's going to be a good system for all trucking companies to be networked with law enforcement. The sooner I can get that information on the theft, the faster I can start working it. Because I can't tell you how many times I get a call from a bad guy, a snitch, a CI, and says, hey, have you not heard anybody looking for a load of condensed milk? No. Well, 3 days later, I get a call from some trucking company that says, by the way, we had a load of milk stolen in Atlanta 3 days ago. Well, now the stuff's gone.
Yeah.
So it's information.
Time is of the essence when you're trying to crack this.
Sure.
And Lewis says the communication isn't one way, not by a long shot.
We've got a warehouse full of stolen loot. Yeah, that stuff we know where it came from. That stuff we don't know. What do? We're going to be able to reverse 911 it, if you will, right through their system and sending a broadcast back out to manufacturers, shippers, trucking companies and say, hey, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation just found this stuff. Is it yours? Can you help us?
With CargoNet, everyone involved in getting goods to market plays a vital part in prevention, detection, and recovery.
The truckers can't solve it by themselves. The brokers can't solve it. The insurance companies can't solve it. And the manufacturers at the top end, the 800-pound gorillas, as I keep saying, they're at the top end of the rung, and they've got to all work together. And they've got to support the carriers at the bottom end. It can't just be the carriers doing it.
The one thing that we focused on as a collaborative unit, it's having multiple industries contribute in a fashion that, in my opinion, hasn't really been done to this magnitude. So think about having transportation, distribution, law enforcement, insurance, retail, and manufacturing all sitting at the table together, having a very candid and trusting discussion.
Maurizio Scrofani is president of CargoNet.
We bring in the data, we talk to multiple industries, being able to take all of the information from a law enforcement agency that they are kind enough to share with us that for them is beneficial. It allows them to connect the dots, and then giving a transportation company the ability to see where these thefts are taking place and how they need to better manage their lanes. It entices them to add information.
Lewis says that additional information helps law officers go even one step further.
Your problem solving. If we're all working together, number one, I want to get your stuff back. My number one priority is to get your $8 million load of pharmaceuticals back right away. Once I get that back, I'm happy. But I want to catch the bad guy, because if I don't catch him, he's going to steal more. So I want to catch that bad guy. So I got to get that bad guy in jail, and then I've got to have good information to put a case file together to get good prosecution from an assistant district attorney.
Scrofani says more and more companies across the shipping spectrum are starting to turn to CargoNet, willing to share information and to take proactive steps that will reduce cargo theft, cut losses, and increase safety.
By them gravitating toward the program, it allows for them to see really how to better manage their loss ratios, how to work with their client base on loss control programs. You know, the tentacles that we have, the software functionality that we've built into our system, from an e-learning platform to an operational element. We've been told that we're on the right track, and it's very good. The transportation companies are seeing value. I think we've brought on board in the first quarter as many as we did all of last year, and these are guys that are truly best in breed. And a lot of what's happening now is that the retailers and manufacturers are asking us, who are these members that are part of CargoNet? Because we want to use them to move our freight, because they get it. They understand that they lead with security. They build in layers of redundancies and security elements. It's assisting them in minimizing their risk. And of course, the shipping community looks at our plan, our initiative, and where we are and where we're going, and they basically say, I get it.
For more information on how you can lower your losses, deter cargo theft, and catch the thieves, contact CargoNet. On the web, that's CargoNet.com. And that's the latest from CargoNet. Remember, you can subscribe to all CargoNet podcasts at Apple's iTunes website, or download them from CargoNet.com. I'm Pete Combs. Thanks for listening to CargoNet, the Cargo Theft Prevention and Recovery Network.